Hello and welcome back to After These Games. I'm your host, John Snyder, and this is a weekly news recap podcast slash Let's Play. I'm going to call it a Let's Play podcast from now on instead of a podcast Let's Play hybrid. But anyway, this is a weekly news roundup Let's Play podcast where I go over the news of the news of last week while I play a game. And so yeah, I'm recording this on March 7th. And there's been several different things happen in the gaming industry. And yes, most of the news I'm going to be covering is gaming news. It would make sense because I am playing Mario Odyssey. And if you saw last week's episode, we're continuing right after where we left off. We got these mummy dudes, which I don't really care for. Anyway, the first news I want to talk about has to deal with the game Dead or Alive 6. Now, I am not a fan of the Dead or Alive series. I've heard of it. I mean, at this point, who hasn't heard of, man, if I can only grab this moon. Anyway. Wow, I am failing at this moon, but anyway, Dead or Alive 6. The Dead or Alive series is a fighting game series, infamously known for their characters being in bathing suits, so Japanese girls in bathing suits, so yeah, it's not really known for its great fighting mechanics. Again, I mean, I'm not sure if it does have some or not, but I'm just saying that's why I know the game from, just being kind of that, it's that one where all the fighters are in bikinis. So yeah, that's a quick rundown on the Dead or Alive series, and now you're asking if I'm not a fan, why am I talking about Dead or Alive 6? Well, it's because there's a season pass that's going to be released with Dead or Alive 6. And what's notable about this season pass is the fact that it is $93. To me, that's a big red flag. And I am pretty sure I would have to double check, but I am like 90% sure that the game itself is $60 at retail. So meaning that they are charging $93 in addition to a $60 game. Now, that is ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous for a season pass price, especially since it appears that most of the DLC are going to be just cosmetic items and some unlockable characters, which apparently, oh wow, that was, I don't know why I didn't take the Jakku or the lion statue. I don't think that's called the Jakku, but anyway, I could just travel back. Yes, I know. Anyway, if I had to pay $93 for DLC, I am expecting at that point a game and a half on top of the game I bought. But yeah, the DLC seems to be mostly cosmetic items and some characters that you have to unlock, which the characters that you do have to unlock, some fans that I've heard have been saying that these characters were DLC in the last game. So it's like, wait, why are you paying DLC for these characters again? That makes absolutely no sense in a, I guess, in a consumer type of way. I mean, it makes, I'm hesitant to say it makes sense in a business way because, again, it's so anti-consumer. It makes sense in a greedy way. How's that? I am not that good driving lion statue, so I'm not gonna try that one little cavern in there because I will get mad. But yeah, and apparently, the $93 season pass for Dead or Alive 6 is nothing new to the franchise. Now, according to Young Ya's video, he did that apparently Dead or Alive 5 also had a ridiculous amount of DLC. And the ridiculous thing is, he actually went to Steam and went to like put all the DLC into a cart. And apparently, the total price for like all the DLC he had put on his cart. Whoa, that was, yeah. That was close. Oof. Anyway, if I remember correctly, it was over $1,200 for DLC. That's right, not $120, but for all the cosmetic DLC, all the unlocked characters, you know, all the DLC for Dead or Alive 5 was... That's cool. Was over $1,200, so that is a 4-digit number. That is outrageous. And yeah, I don't see the publishers of that game getting new customers anytime soon. They're just more of, I believe they're just only catering to the loyal fans at the moment, which is I just want to say to anyone who's a Dead or Alive fan, you are more than happy to like whatever you want. Like, I'm allowed to suck as much as however I want. Ooh, did not want that to happen. Did not want that to happen. I don't even know why that happened. That's weird. It should have just captured those Goombas. Anyway. You are allowed to like whatever you want. However, I strongly urge that I am not... I can get this moon still. Maybe. Nope. Not getting that moon. I strongly urge fans of the Dead or Alive series to branch out or start demanding better from the from the publisher and say that these microtransactions are ridiculous. Because they are. There's not much I want to say about Dead or Alive 6 other than it's ridiculous microtransactions. Now, going on, we have a GameSpot article talking about Overwatch heroes. Let me just pull that up. Anyway, this is an article from GameSpot where it says the Overwatch roster could eventually use seasonal rotation hero bans. Now, I used to be an pretty big Overwatch fan, used to play fairly regularly. I stopped playing it about a few months ago. I just stopped really enjoying the series. And I'll get to why in a second. I don't know why it's not taking over. There we go. Anyway, the reason I haven't really been enjoying, like, I haven't played Overwatch lately is and for a couple of reasons, but before I get to that, let me continue on with the article. So this comes in light with the new hero Baptiste, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, being released, which I haven't even tried. So that makes the roster into 30 playable heroes. And they're not, Blizzard's not planning to stop developing on new heroes according to GameSpot. However, they are toying with the idea of hero rotation or bans to help manage the roster if it grows too unwidely. Now that is a direct statement from GameSpot. Now we have a quote saying, we have a bunch of heroes that we're playing with a bunch of ideas, a bunch of gameplay concepts. Lead hero designer Jeff Goodman said at a Q&A with media attended by GameSpot. As long as people are playing Overwatch, we're looking at adding content to it. And continues on. Goodman also continues on saying, we talk a decent amount. I gotta actually try to play the game while reading this. We talk a decent amount about rotating heroes, and what's paired a lot with it is hero bans, hero picks, things like that, because they're both kind of related to roster size. We don't have any plans about that right now. It does come up in conversation if we get a big enough roster that we feel like we would benefit from that, or maybe each competitive season we could do something like that. We sort of idly talk about it. We don't have sorry, lost my see, this is why I'm doing a Let's Play podcast, because I can completely screw up on trying to play both the game and read the article. Anyway, or maybe each competitive season we could do something like that. We sort of ideally talk about it. We don't have any plans right now. We don't feel like we're at the point where we have enough heroes where that seems to make sense. But if we reach a point that just feels like too many, then yeah, we might do something like that. Now this is going back to why I stopped playing Overwatch. And it's the fact that Overwatch has a tendency, like, this is one of the reasons. I mean, other than the fact that the community has been pretty toxic, at least online, and it's not really fun to talk about. I just, like, there's this pattern where, so anyone who plays Overwatch knows about seasonal events. And they know that they added a new mode for a seasonal event. And the problem is, when it comes to when the seasonal event ends, they actually take that mode away until next year. Which is honestly at the point of being ridiculous. It was understandable, like, they would do this in their first year. Like, it's a big multiplayer, team-based game. And first year, I feel like it was understandable because they had to go through some growing pains. As well, and you can make that argument with the balancing as well. I do think the team does a horrible job when it comes to balancing heroes. But they take these modes away until next year. And to me, that's just ridiculous. Because, like, okay, there's one event, like one mode I really like playing. It's the anniversary modes where it's PvE. Now, I'm more of a PvE player than a PvP player. I enjoy PvP, but I love PvE more. Anyway, and it's not fair to players like me who are fans of these characters and fans of these modes to just take that mode away until next year. And it just doesn't make sense. Like, if you added the mode on, leave it there. Just... Overwatch has become kind of a frustrating thing to talk about because I don't want to really... Like, I don't want to hate the game. But I just don't feel like it's fun to play anymore. Or at least, I no longer have fun playing it like I used to. So that was my little mini Overwatch rant while trying to defeat a boss. So far, so good. Roll, roll, roll. Huh, rolling like Sonic. Produces some very awesome results. I don't know why the cap's having kind of trouble locking on like it is. I don't know. That's weird, but anyway, that's all I want to talk about Overwatch. And I guess my discussion of them taking away those modes is if they ban heroes, they're essentially going to be... I feel like they're kind of taking away heroes from the game. And that is something I've been afraid of for a while because of their growing roster, that they're going to be at a point where they can't manage all these heroes. And it goes back to also them not being able to balance the game well. And they're only at 30 heroes. Now, why do I say only 30 heroes? Now, I feel like their excuse of balancing also needs... Like, just because they have a big roster is not good enough anymore. Because now we have a game like Smash Bros. Ultimate with 70... If I remember correctly, it's 70 playable characters with the DLC still coming. Now, and balancing in that game is actually pretty damn well. I mean, I'm only a casual player, but I don't hear any complaints about balancing. So I feel like they need to figure something out with the balancing. They need to stop taking away content from the game. I should have changed it then, but whatever. But yeah, Overwatch has become a very disappointing game in my eyes. It was fun for the first year, a little bit in the second year, but now the constant problems of Overwatch, these problems need to be fixed. No, I don't want to jump up there. I want to look like I want my sombrero. I want to look like one of them Western banditos. I'm pretty sure I just butchered that. Trying to mimic Wild West, but I want my sombrero and poncho. And okay, talking about the game for a second, I love the aesthetic of this world, mainly because I love the art behind Day of the Dead. I'm afraid to say how it's actually pronounced in Spanish, because I'm going to butcher it, especially with my allergy being how it is. Yeah, it's still allergy season. My nose has been bothering me. But yeah, I really love this aesthetic. And for Desert theme, I really love that they kind of stepped away from the cliche Egyptian aesthetic and went through a very Mexican, culture. Now I just want to grab this one moon. Yeah. Anyway, look at them skull heads. I love when games, I want to see more of the style in games. Anyway, that's a bit. I'm done gushing about Mario Odyssey for the moment. Not going to promise that I am. I'm not going to promise that I won't do it in the rest of the video. I make no promises. And I know this is going to be a horrible video as it is, but this is me trying to record while not feeling so well. Thank you, seasonal allergies. Anyway, on to the next news topic. We have an interview with Smash Brothers game director and Kirby creator Sakurai about his work when he was working on Smash Brothers Ultimate. It was revealed that there were days where Sakurai was really sick, and just forewarning, this is not going to be going to Lake Kingdom. This is not Nintendo. There's been reports that Nintendo in Japan has been a really awesome place to work at, with people staying there for on average 13 years, which is ridiculous when you compare it to American companies and how long people stay, where it's an average of 1 to 2 years, I'm guessing. Anyway, while Sakurai was developing, he was working ridiculous hours and apparently came into work with an IV or had to take an IV drip in the morning. So his health was taking a toll, and he was still going to work, and it has a lot of fans concerned that Sakurai is not properly taking care of himself. And so it's not Nintendo was forcing Sakurai to work on the game. No, it was Sakurai forcing himself to work on the game. And that's what stated in the interview. Noted, I did skim it and just only seen videos of it. But I will have all the sources and links to the sources in the description below. But yeah, Sakurai, you have to take care of yourself. Everyone is understanding that your health comes first. I know there's a lot of gamers that feel entitled. They are the minority. Don't get me wrong, but they are a small, loud minority. Where there is entitled gamers who want to who would really want the game now versus later. However, I think even then they would understand if you have to go to work with an IV, you really need to take a break, man. And Sakurai, honestly, just take a break from making games for a bit. Focus on your health. Don't work yourself to death. And I know I'm not the only one saying that. A lot of people are saying, Sakurai, focus on your health. We don't mind waiting. We appreciate all the work you did. You made some of the best video games ever. You made Kirby one of the the most adorable character in gaming. And yeah, fight me on that. Pikachu is adorable as well. I will not argue with that, but Kirby is the most adorable. He is the most precious boy, and we should all protect him. Anyway, Sakurai, I am highly doubtful you're going to be watching this video at all. But please, please take care of yourself. No game should be... like, no game is more important than your health. Alright, now we're in the underwater level. I love that holographic dress right there. Like, this is a very beautiful level, but I wish they had the song from Super Mario 64. I forgot the name of the level, but I'm you know the level I'm talking about. The one with the sunken ship and the bottom, the water. That level, the music in that game was mwah. Yeah, I'm just grabbing some moons right now. But yeah, Sakurai, take care of yourself. I know I can't say that anymore. On next bit of news, this is more of a kind of a funny, not really important, but I feel it's kind of just funny. I want to mention that. So, for those of you who don't know, Jack Black, famous actor Jack Black, you've probably seen him in the latest Jumanji movie. Like, if you don't know about Jack Black, man, oh man, you have been missing out. Anyway, he created a YouTube channel, a YouTube gaming channel called Jablinski, and it's one of those, like, everyone scorns at the idea of celebrities having YouTube channels. However, with Jack Black, it feels different because it feels like, okay, yeah, I would actually want to see a Jack Black gaming channel. And he said he was going to be gaming every Friday. Doing like a gaming video every Friday. And that was 2 months ago. And now, we're in March 7th, and just last week, he finally does a proper gaming video. And he plays... for the record, it takes about half the video to get there, but we finally did it, and he plays probably the best game he could play, which is Brutal Legend, which he was, Jack Black was pretty much the main character. I'm not even going to say he voiced the main character, no, he was practically the main character. It was Jack Black. So yeah, I feel like that was just kind of a funny thing, like, man, Jack Black, what are you doing? Slacking on those, gaming videos there. And it's funny because he said, you know, the excuse was, like, I haven't seen all of his videos, but that he was having trouble setting up the Elgato, which, Jack, I am actually capturing on an Elgato. That's why I'm able to play Switch games for my YouTube channel. You know, it's very easy. You could just have Googled it or searched it on YouTube, man. You must have been having some real trouble with that Elgato. I'm sorry, I just gotta take a jab at Jack Black for a second, because I feel like that's funny. Anyway, it's a pretty entertaining video though, but I'm just not sure that, because at first, you know, people were like really excited to see Jack Black play video games, and now because it took 2 months to finally get to that, I'm pretty sure a lot of those people already left and just like, because we felt like he was never going to play video games. But yeah, hopefully he'll continue to play video games. Let's hope the Brutal Legend video is not the only only gaming video on his channel. Because that would be kind of sad. No offense, Jack Black, but you gotta work on your at least on your game recording skills. Not your gaming skills, but your game recording skills. That makes no sense, but whatever, allergy season, I'm just gonna blame that. Just blame it all on allergies like I normally do in life. Never take responsibility for myself. Like that jump that I failed to do? Yeah, blame it on allergy season. I feel like this is also a novelty of doing a Let's Play podcast. Because 1 second you're going to be talking about the latest news, and the next second you are going to be complaining that, man, I really suck at this game. Next thing I want to talk about is, well, I should have actually started the video off first, but hey, whatever. We are now on March 3rd, 2019. It was the 2-year anniversary of the Nintendo Switch, and I just want to say happy birthday, Nintendo Switch. Now, admittedly, I did not get the Switch when it first released. I actually waited probably June 2017 to get it. Like, I wanted to wait till there was more games, because at the time I had a Wii U and the only game I was interested in was Breath of the Wild, and, well, Breath of the Wild was also on Wii U, so I was like, I'm gonna wait to see when there's more games and wait for more reviews to see how the Switch runs. And I think the game that really sold me on getting the Switch was, well, the game I'm playing right now. Like, I think when Mario Odyssey was being announced, I was like, oh. Like, I'm a fan of 3D platforming Marios. Like, I grew up playing Mario 64 and seeing kind of like the predecessor to you know, the spiritual predecessor. Well, it's not even spiritual predecessor, but the predecessor to Mario 64, and just going back to proper 3D Mario. It's really, like, this is a really fun game, and I absolutely adore playing it. I mean, I'm pretty sure every Switch owner at this point has bought... Oh! That was a oops. That was a big oops. But anyway, I just love this game, and I love the Switch. It's been, like, for the almost 2 years I've been playing it, it's been a really enjoyable experience. It's been a really great console, and a lot of YouTubers have been talking about the Switch 2 years and just kind of going back to saying the pros and cons. And now, not one of the cons that they did not mention is that I suck at jumping today. I guess another benefit of Let's Play podcasts, you get to see when I royally screw up. Anyway, there's this one really great video. It's about 55 minutes long by Scott the Was. I'm gonna have a link into the playlist. I thought I was gonna make the same mistake again. And I only have me to blame. Anyway, Scott was, where he goes back to the beginning of 2018 and like kind of just like goes through, okay, the year, like last year of Nintendo Switch, how well did it go? And I think a lot of people are agreeing that 2018 was not that strong of a year for Nintendo when it comes to at least first party releases. Sure, we got Super Mario Party and Super Mario Aces, like Tennis Aces, but it was kind of a filler year. Now, the indie games really picked up the slack, and also third-party releases also picked up the slack. But regards to, because we had like such a great 2017 year with Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, I think it was okay. And man, I don't want to get hit right now. But anyway, if it wasn't until November, December where we actually got some. No, it's not till December when we got Smash, where it's like everyone, like 2018 would have probably felt like more of a it was an okay year. Then Smash came out and it was like, well, 2018 best year of the Switch. But yeah, I mean, overall the Switch has been a really great console, and I love how it's both portable and a home console. I think that was a very smart decision on Nintendo's part, and probably not the smart idea of going after these coins. I am going to yeah. Get in there. Whew. That was close. Got some really great games, and it looks like that 2018 filler year was for a good reason, because we already did get a bunch of announcements for some high anticipated games, such as Mario Maker 2, which when that comes out, oh yes, I am going to be playing that on the channel. We also have Yoshi's Crafted World. I actually already pre-ordered that game. I played the demo, and I'm actually really excited for that game. I'm not typically a big Yoshi game. I've only played a couple. I did play Woolly World on the Wii U, and I bought it for the 3DS. Wii U version's better, but I'm actually liking the craft aesthetic more than the yarn aesthetic. I mean, so that filler year was definitely not for me, because we got Yoshi coming in March, Mario Maker 2, which I am very much excited for, in June, which I'm really happy that's coming that soon. And we also have the remake for Link's Awakening for the Switch, showing that. And plus, we already have an announcement for the next generation of Pokemon games, Sword and Shield, which I talked about in the last week's episode. So check that out if you want to find out my opinions on that. But my biggest complaint, and it will actually lead on to the next thing I want to discuss about, is, and this is the one complaint everybody's having when it comes to Nintendo, or at least when it comes to the Switch. Nintendo Online Service. Yeah, not that good. Because for what, like, I want to say it was more than a year. It was either, yeah, it was more than a year for, like, where online, like, playing online was completely free, and $20, yes, it's pretty cheap, but it just feels like a paywall to play online. And if it happened sooner to the Switch's launch, it wouldn't feel so bad. But because we've been used to playing it for free, it feels like a paywall. And yes, they do offer the Nintendo Like, what, I didn't, okay, that was a little ridiculous. I didn't, alright, I'm gonna back out before I rage at this. Anyway, it feels like, for, with the service, they allow you to stream NES games, and and they've been releasing about 2 NES games a month, with the latest ones from March being shoot, oh yeah, Kid Icarus and Star Tropics, and yay, it's hard for me to get excited for the Switch game, like for the NES Online library, because it just feels like, okay, anything else? Because it's nice to have these NES games, you know, on the Switch, being able to play on the Switch, but one, you have to stream it, so you can't really play it online. So that's kind of that's a negative in my opinion. But another thing is that they're only streaming NES games, and there's no SNES games, no Nintendo 64 games, no GameCube games, and there's no virtual console. And it's like, Nintendo, the service has to be better. Especially, like, even though, yes, these NES games are nice, they're not really amazing anyone. Like, they're not wowing the crowd at all, if you get what I'm saying. Especially because you released the NES Classic, which has 30 great titles from the NES library. And we have that to compare to, and yeah, Nintendo, you really need to do something for Switch Online, and I say do it sooner than later, because I'm gonna say do it, and Tetris 99 was a nice bonus, but I don't think that's enough. That's a distraction at best. You have to do something better. You have to give us more classic games. I think you have to make the service better. You need more cloud support on games. You need to have more dedicated servers. And I get it, you want to be anti-cheater, but you need more dedicated servers. You need to make the service better, and you need to do it before Mario Maker 2. Now, I'm guessing that you're relying on Mario Maker 2 to be that title that you know, is going to make the service more, you know, like, oh, Mario Maker 2 is going to require the service, you know, and it's going to make people want to have the service more. And a lot of people have the $20 a year right now. There's no guarantee that's going to happen, like that's going to continue to happen throughout years. And I say do it before Mario Maker 2, because if the service is not that good, and I know as an educated opinion, I know Mario Maker 2 is probably going to require the Nintendo Online service. I don't want the service to possibly damage Mario Maker 2, because I'm guessing Mario Maker 2 is going to be a really great game. It looks like you listen to a lot of the fans when it comes to the development for Mario Maker 2, especially by adding in slopes. You really, like, if the service is not better by the time Mario Maker 2 happens, and people decide that they don't want to continue paying $20 a year for a subpar online service, it's going to damage that game. And I don't want to see that happening. Now that is just my opinion, but let me know in the comments about your guys' opinion on online service. What do you think? Oh, well, was not looking. That was my bad right there. Just want to get enough coins so I can get Swimsuit Mario. I think I have enough coins. Because this level doesn't have that many coins. It has like 50, I want to say. Yeah. Now, I know I've been ranting on Nintendo for quite a bit, but maybe, this is a big maybe, Nintendo might actually be listening to people wanting and Nintendo 64 games, like more than just... Shoot, I'm not gonna get it. Yep, not gonna get it. Oh well. I'll get back to it later. Anyway, because we did get an announcement of an N64 game coming to Nintendo Switch. Now, I say announcement, but reality is it just kind of showed up. Because it was... if you look at the Nintendo website, we now have Turok being available on the Nintendo on the eShop store. Wow, not the eShop store. I can't talk today. It'll be coming out May 18th, I want to say. Yeah, May 18th, Turok 1 is coming out, and there's plans on putting Turok 2 being put on the Switch. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same release date, but I know for a fact Turok 1 is coming out May 18th. Not May 18th, but March 18th. Sorry, March 18th, Turok 1 is coming out for the Switch. And this could be a very big deal. Now, it is the PC remastered version that released a few years ago. However, I want to stress this. I'm really hoping Turok does well on the eShop, because this could send a very definite message to Nintendo saying, hey, we want more Nintendo 64 games on the Switch. So, if the game does well, this may be a good sign that we're going to get more Nintendo 64 games, more SNES games onto the Switch. And I hope that is the case. Like, I want to see more of a virtual console like everyone does onto the Switch. Because it just feels kind of ridiculous that these games are not available on the Switch at this point. So, if you want to see more N64 games coming to the Switch, I highly recommend you go ahead and actually purchase Turok. Make sure that game does really well on the eShop, and send a message to Nintendo saying we want more Nintendo 64 games on the Switch. And yes, I also did mention Mario Maker 2. I just want to quickly shout out to Game Explain's video they released on March 3rd. No, I'm not even going to get that. It's just coins. Anyway, Game Explain did finally put out their trailer analysis for the reveal trailer, like the announcement trailer for Mario Maker 2. And, well, Mario Maker 2's trailer was about a minute and a half. Yeah. Well, Game Explain's video, like their analysis video, is literally an hour and a half. So, yeah, they go in depth. Like, real in depth. I had to take a drink of water on there. remember, kids, stay hydrated. Because hydration is half the battle. Mario! Da 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 da! So yeah, if you have the time to spare, or are really interested in Mario Maker 2 and just want to know every possible thing that might be coming to the game, I highly recommend you check out Game Explain's Mario Maker 2 analysis. I feel that is going to be the most in-depth analysis video on the first trailer, and they go into detail about every frame of that trailer. Now let's switch on to more negative news. We have I want to say a month or two ago, Activision announced that they're going to be laying off about 8% of Blizzard's, Activision Blizzard is going to be laying off about 8% of their company. So that's about 800 people, I want to say. That's what I've heard. So they laid off 800 people. And Activision's becoming, such a scummy company. Like, they're coming to be as equal to EA. Especially since you look at the fact that the CEO of Activision and the CEO of EA are two of the most overpaid CEOs in America. Which, that's a problem when you have to lay off so many people, and yet your boss gets gets a raise, yet 800 people got laid off. That really shows that you're kind of being a scummy company, especially with the microtransactions. Now, initially, people were saying, "Oh, well, in an investor standpoint, layoffs seem to be good to investors. It seems like, the company's actually doing well, or in a sense that they seem to be going to get more money." I should say that. And also, if you don't know, the layoffs also come after the reports that the fourth quarter of last year was more successful than 2017. Like 2018 Activision was more successful than 2017 Activision, and yet they still laid off about 8% of their company. Now, this is pretty old news. You're correct. Perhaps that wasn't much of a riddle. Well, yeah, it wasn't really a riddle. It was a question. Anyway. Why am I bringing this up? This is quite old news. Well, we have two articles. One from Nintendo Life and one from GameSpot, where the CEO of Activision is saying to investors could negatively impact business. So yeah, that does not look good for Activision Blizzard. And honestly, I've heard rumors, I'm not sure if they are true or not, that some investors are actually going to be wanting to sue or looking to sue Activision for the whole Bungie separation of Activision. So yeah, it does not look good for Activision, especially since when you take into the fact that the CEO is being extremely overpaid. Like, he got a raise, and now the layoffs are gonna possibly negatively impact business. It's not a good look for Activision. And Blizzard, I know they have a lot of loyal fans and they have some really great IPs. I highly recommend they try to figure something out, like do what Bungie did, that not only leave Activision, but they take their IPs with them. because if you don't know, Bungie was able to take a Destiny franchise with them. So there's hopes for Destiny 3 if that ever, or let me just say, there's hopes for the Destiny franchise, at least when it comes to like there not being microtransactions or ridiculous microtransactions. Just hope for the IP in general. And yeah, I'll have those articles in the description below. So Activision, I strongly recommend you take a course correction, and if you don't, Blizzard, you gotta cut your losses and leave Activision, or you're gonna go sinking with them. That's how I see things happening, especially since people are catching on that, hey, Activision's being pretty scummy. So yeah, those articles will be listed below. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, quick note, there's gonna be a video in the playlist on the description below, talking about this, but if you've been on the internet at all in the past 24 hours, you've probably seen some leaked images of what Sonic could possibly, I'm gonna say, because these images look actually fairly legit. They are leaks, but they do seem to look accurate to what Sonic's gonna look like, and Paramount, no. It's gone so bad where the person who created Sonic's design is like, what the hell is this? So yeah. Like, really. I'm not gonna edit any pictures onto the video. Again, I want to treat this as much like a Let's Play podcast as possible, and not really edit unless I have to for some unexplained reason or whatever. Some reason or another. Not unexplained, there would be an explanation. Anyway, I'm rambling on, I'm getting off topic, but my opinions, it does not look good at all. Like, yikes. Paramount, no. And I remember hearing an article that, like, when they talked about, yeah, Sega wasn't too happy about us having the movie Sonic have two eyes. I think that was like coming from the director. I'm not sure. So don't quote me on that, but especially since I very much stuttered. Anyway, it does not, like, the decision of, how Sonic kind of pretty much has that one eye thing. Yeah, they gave Sonic two eyes and kind of, yeah, and there's fan edits everywhere. You've probably seen them where they made Sonic look better, and yeah, this looks like a Bay Turtles situation. And it does not look good for... Oops, should not have done that. It's not looking good for the Sonic movie. It looks like it might be... I'm really here's my expectations. While most people are going to be probably like, oh, it's going to be another Super Mario Brothers the movie. Well, I'm hoping for more of a Street Fighter the movie, if you know what I mean. Like, it's so bad it's good. And just the more images I see of the Sonic, the less hopes I have for the movie. and the more nightmares I have. If you are brave enough to see those leaks, if you haven't already, just do a Google search. You'll find it. Yeah. Not looking good. Wow, Detective Pikachu, that looks really good. Looks like that's going to be a good movie. I feel at this point, Paramount needs to release a trailer. We really need to see Sonic in action in order to make a proper judgment, because with these leaks, it's hard to tell how accurate and it's going to actually look in the movie, and I think we just need to see footage at this point. And who knows, maybe the footage will actually make Sonic look good, maybe the design will actually grow on people, but I am not having high hopes for that. I know this video is going to be running a bit long. We are actually over an hour, but there's still a couple things I want to talk about still, and that's okay. Quickly, I will mention that it seems Death Stranding, according to Kojima, is the development is a little bit behind schedule, but not by much. If you're looking out for Death Stranding news, so there's no like details of it being, delayed or anything. It just development seems to be behind schedule. Not really major news, but just I feel it's a little bit worth talking about, because personally I'm kind of interested in seeing what Death Stranding actually is, because from what I've seen, I don't know what to gauge from the gameplay, because not much gameplay has been shown that really shows what the game's actually going to be out. Is it going to be a stealth game? Is it going to be an action game? And I don't want to say this, but it seems like to be a walking simulator. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but that's all I've kind of seen from the game. I want to see more. But figure I'd give a little heads up about that. And now before I go on to the big news, I want to say that last night, Nintendo out of nowhere showed a tweet where they announced, they made a tweet where they announced Labo VR. Which was like, oh, well, okay, Nintendo, whatever, I guess. Yeah, sorry, I'm taking a pause, trying to focus on not doing that. That was... If I stay here. Anyway, so Labo VR. That seems like that's going to be happening. Yeah, we have two sets, an $80 set and a $40 set, and the $40 set is going to have the basic goggles. So it's going to be like those cardboard Google VR sets, and it's not going to strap onto your head. You're actually going to have to hold it in place. So yeah, I'll have a link in the description below. You can check it out yourself. My opinion is it's just going to be another Labo game. Labo's not directed towards me. I do feel like it's an interesting idea. I love how I try to encourage his kids to be more creative, trying to build. And trying to code to an extent. I appreciate that. It's not a product that I'm personally looking forward to. Because I'm not into Labo at all. And I don't see this doing also well. I think Nintendo knows that. That's why there was not a big announcement. Because not only has the novelty of Labo, in my opinion, felt like it's kind of worn off, also the trend and novelty of VR in general is starting to wear down, because you're not seeing much into VR. VR was kind of just that fad, that was that neat little fad, and I think we're all just gonna see some mini games for Labo VR, and that's gonna be it for VR. Maybe they'll do some VR things with YouTube, but if you're thinking, oh, we're now going to get Super Mario VR or Legend of Zelda VR, Metroid VR, I would very much say that is not going to happen. At least when it comes to the Switch, that I just don't see that happening at all. I feel like this is going to be exclusively for Labo stuff, and I think Nintendo's expecting it not to do so great. That's why it just kind of had that small announcement, like, oh yeah, we're doing this. So no big trailer, no nothing. Just kind of a, hey, we're doing this. If you're interested, go ahead and check it out. Like, they want to continue. Like, I'm glad that they haven't given up on the idea of Labo, and I wish them, that they would continue for the for the people who actually love Labo, who love to work with Labo. But what I'm hearing is that a lot of people are just kind of like pick it up, build it, like take 5 hours to build, but 5 minutes to play the game, and they never pick it up again. And it's not like they're having a bad time, it's just like they just don't want to play it, if you get what I mean. So yeah, Labo VR, that's a thing. Now let me get to the big story that's been happening in gaming news, or at least in my opinion, because it's being talked about by a lot of YouTubers, by a lot of articles, is that there are reports. Now, I want to stress that this seems to be a minority of PlayStation 4 users. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard this by now, but there's reports of Anthem actually bricking PlayStation 4s. Now, if you don't know what bricking means, it practically means it turns your console into a brick. It makes it useless. Now, there is a supposed way to fix this. I'll have a Reddit link to the user who posted a solution to, if you are one of the few unfortunate people that experience that, there is a solution to get your PlayStation 4 back up and running. It's not game over, and so okay, this is happening. However, the glitch is so big that Sony is issuing refunds for the game. Now that's a big deal, because Sony has that policy where if you download the game, no refund. It's like, that's just not going to happen. Like, they don't essentially Sony really hates the idea of refunds. Like, they despise it with passion. Anyway, so yeah, that's how big of a deal it is. EA seems to be aware of it. They're asking for player feedback. And BioWare seems like they might have found the solution, and they'll be having a patch up next week. So, good news. I would recommend you not play Anthem until it is guaranteed fixed. And this is not a good look for the game, especially since the game had a pretty rough start when it comes to reviews and players enjoying the game. So if you're a PlayStation 4 user and you were looking to play Anthem, I highly recommend you wait until you make sure at least the source of this problem has been fixed. While that Reddit link, yes, provides a solution for players that already had their PlayStation 4 bricked, I would not risk it, because what happens is that the game is forcing like making the PlayStation 4 to force shutdown, which is not good. Like, you know how a power outage happens, and it's pretty much giving your console a power outage, and it's not good for the console. So until it is 100% guaranteed that problem is fixed, don't play Anthem. And it also seems like there's a bunch of bugs happening as well. I know we all make fun of Fallout 76 for being one of the buggiest games in recent memory, but I don't remember any reports of Fallout 76 breaking any consoles. And again, it is a minority, but I still recommend you wait until the problem has been 100% fixed. And this is... And look, I know we want to blame EA and... Hang on, my cat is in front of the TV. He needs to get down. Alright. Sorry about that. Anyway. I know we want to blame EA. We want to look for a scapegoat to this problem, and it's like... I'm not sure it... Things like this just kind of happen. Like, okay, what makes this different than, say, the Fallout 76, and why we are allowed to blame Bethesda for all those glitches? Because they, well, this seems to be a rare bug, and yes, it's a big problem, but these big problems don't seem to be persistent. Like, they don't seem to be a common occurrence, while the bugs going on in Fallout 76 have been an occurrence in all Bethesda games of lately. So it's one of those, we're allowed to get mad at Bethesda because they are running on an outdated engine, and a lot of these bugs could have been avoided. Well, this one, they could have had, I'm going to paraphrase from what Review Tech USA said, they could have had 1,000 play testers, you know, testing on the PlayStation 4 and still not encounter this bug. So don't necessarily jump on the gun on blaming EA for this glitch or Anthem. Don't blame the developer and the publisher yet for this problem. However, if the problem persists and it gets worse and it gets to a bigger scale, then we can start blaming EA and start blaming BioWare. But yeah, I think that's about it when it comes to news. I am going to defeat the boss, and I'll end it there. So let's get to the boss real quick. I'm going to quickly double check to make sure I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I'm not even going to worry about these rings. I'm just going to worry about getting to the boss at this point. Guess it's a good thing I'm not talking about news right now, because I need to focus on not getting hit and targeting. Man, I'm not doing a good job. Oh, that was not good, but it doesn't matter. Alright, I think that is a good... Oh, there's one thing I want to talk about. I should have mentioned that when I was talking about the Activision layoffs. Is that... let me see if I can pull up the article real quick. Up there we go. So, apparently some layoffs have hit Dying Light 2 studio, but the game is not affected. According to GameSpot, Techland is closing its Polish distribution and publishing department. So that's a bit concerning. Hopefully it really is not impacting the game. I've played a little bit of the first Dying Light game. I thought that was fun. But it's a shame that those layoffs happen. I really hope that the game really is not affected. Anyway, we're just going to defeat this boss and then that'll be it for this episode. You know, I'm going to probably talk about now what I want to do. Well, first of all, I did adjust the audio a little bit. So the gaming volume, like I felt like, so good news was I was only hearing the audio cutting out during the recording, but it did not affect the actual video. I'm very glad about that. However, I felt like the gameplay was a bit loud, so I turned it down a smidge, see how that goes for this video. And yeah, so far I'm having fun, you know, researching these articles and discussing about them. I don't really have that many people to discuss gaming news. I only have a few gamer friends to really talk to, like to discuss news like this, so I just kind of want to give my opinions out like on these news articles, and I do care for the gaming industry, so I've been like playing video games since as long as I can remember. And I should go back to Turok. One thing I want to know is that Turok was actually like one of the first consoles I remember playing was the Nintendo 64. And Turok was one of the few games I remember playing. My stepdad actually owned that game, and he actually had a game guide and had a... not what I wanted to do. He actually had a game guide, and back then game guides had like a bunch of cheats. So yeah, I got to, you know, I don't even remember actually progressing through the story at all. I was about 4 years old when I was playing Turok. Keep that in mind. And I mean, now you think, back then it was a rated M game, but the rating's been changed to rated teen because the graphics, they're not a big issue. And anyway, I didn't progress through the level because my stepdad had a cheat code where it was just infinite lives, infinite ammo, and all the guns unlocked from level 1, and I just had fun switching through the guns and just shooting the initial characters, and I don't know, I just didn't feel like I had, my 4-year-old self had enough fun on level 1 to play the game, so that's one reason I'm looking forward to Turok being on the Switch, so I can play that game and actually progress through the game. Before I go, I do want to mention real quick, Final Fantasy VII is coming to the Switch this month. It is going to be March 26th, I want to say. Let me double check the calendar. Yep, March 26th, Final Fantasy VII is going to be released for the Switch, and I'm actually not really a Final Fantasy fan. However, I know the importance of that game. My stepdad's a huge fan of that game. I know friends who are huge fan of that game, like Final Fantasy VII. In fact, I have Final Fantasy VII on my PlayStation 4. Haven't played it yet. Get back to that fact in a second. Also, some of my friends really love JRPGs, and I know the importance of Final Fantasy VII, so I just want to take a quick moment to announce that I'm planning on doing a special episode on the release date of Final Fantasy VII on Switch. I'm doing research right now. I am going to be, instead of talking about gaming news, I'm going to be talking about behind the scenes shenanigans. I should say I want to talk about the development and the impact of the game itself while playing the first hour or two of the game. I'm hoping for 2 hours on PlayStation 4, and I actually did pre-order my copy on the Switch, so I can finally play the game. Hopefully be to a point of beating it, because I played it on PC a couple years ago, and I'm not a PC gamer, so I only played like the first 8 hours, and I kind of realized, oh, that was just a tutorial. Well, crap. And I didn't really pick the game back up since, because it's nothing against JRPGs, I just don't have time for JRPGs. Anyway, this should be a good spot to, we have gone over an hour and 20 minutes for this video. A little bit longer than I was expecting, but there was a lot of news to talk about. And again, if you are jumping onto this channel, if you like what you see, I would recommend you click the subscribe button and come back. Every Friday I'm going to have a video up, probably around 4 p.m. Eastern. I feel like that is going to be the scheduled time. 4 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to have a weekly news, like gaming news, Let's Play podcast every Friday. 4 p.m. Eastern. So subscribe if you want to keep up on these podcasts. If you like what I did, I would appreciate a click on the like button. I would also, and if you think, oh, I'm doing horrible in these videos, hey, go ahead and click on the dislike button. Being that anti-YouTuber right now. And if you have any suggestions on the videos or what news I should cover, just go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below, if YouTube still has a comment section. So anyway, that's all for this video. Anyway, thank you for listening. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video, and we return to your regularly scheduled reality. Have a good one.